February, an international swimming competition and qualifier for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris will be held in Doha. Doha, the capital of Qatar. But now the International Olympic Committee is facing some pressure from an organization representing Israeli and Jewish athletes to move the event out of Qatar over understandable safety concerns. In a letter to the IOC, the Notodoha campaign writes, quote, "Today the leaders of the Palestinian terrorist death cult Hamas live in Doha, Qatar, where they enjoy protection and support from the local government. No Jew could justifiably feel safe while competing in Doha," unquote. Let's bring in Eric Spitz. He's spearheading the No to Doha campaign. Eric, thanks for being here. So your daughter, I should mention, of course, you're not related to Mark Spitz, for anybody out there wondering. Your daughter is a member of the Israeli women's swim team. Is her safety the reason you started this campaign, the No to Doha campaign?
It's her safety as well as the unfairness of the situation, in the sense that regardless of whether they decide to go or not, they're being put in an awful situation. How would you like it if you were a world-class athlete being asked to attend an event and perform at your peak while having the Hamas leadership around the corner?
Yeah. In an op-ed, you write, quote, "Like all Israeli athletes, they traveled incognito for fear that revealing the country they compete for would make them a terrorist target. No passport stamps and no team gear or logos on bags," unquote. What's it like for your daughter? She's focused on competing. She's focused on representing her country. But she also has to struggle with with first of all, having to hide who she is. And then also this decision to possibly not compete because she doesn't want to go to a country where Hamas is staying at the local Four Seasons.
It's difficult. It's difficult on all of them. And really, the most challenging thing for them is that they're not getting great information from either the IOC, from World Aquatics, or even from their Israeli coaches, who seem that they don't really know what's going on.
And what's your reaction to the general premise that Qatar is playing a significant role in the release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas? As I'm sure you've heard, there are people in Israel and the U.S. who say, I understand concerns you might have, but Qatar is helping right now. They're helping in terms of negotiations, helping to get hostages out, so they are playing a constructive role.
For sure, except they also operate Al Jazeera in Arabic, which has over the years been held liable for starting some of the riots that you're seeing all over the world. So yes, they're saying things, and yes, they've done a great job of sports washing or whitewashing their image by investing in things and putting money into universities and creating the Doha wing of the Brookings Institute. But can you really be sure that you're safe and secure inside a country that is known as the global mecca of terrorism?
And what's the alternative for your daughter if she ultimately feels like she wouldn't feel safe in Doha?
That's really the question on the part, or up to the IOC and World Aquatics. There are alternatives. They can make other events, qualifying events. If they really wanted to do something, they could make an event in Israel or a special event for the affected athletes. Instead, they're clamming up and not telling anybody anything.
So you've had no response from the IOC at all?
Right. And not only have I had no response, but there are several journalists who are now following this story who've done real work trying to get to World Aquatics, trying to get to IOC, trying to get to the Israeli Olympics with no avail.
Yeah. Eric Spitz, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we should note that we also reached out to the IOC, and they did not respond to our request for comment. Eric, good to see you, and good luck to your daughter.